everybody, welcome to the Marc Adams School of Woodworking. This is our 25th anniversary, and one of the things we're doing this year that's so unique and special is I'm interviewing some of our instructors that are here. And today I'm going to interview Scott Grove. Now, I got to tell you one thing about Scott before we get started. Stephen Proctor once told me that when he first saw Wendell Castle's work, he was blown away. The word Stephen uses, gobsmacked, about the volume of work that he does. And I'm that way with Scott. I'm just absolutely blown away by the amount of things he has done in his career. So let me just share a little bit with you about Scott. Scott, tell me about your family, where you grew up.
I grew up on the Hudson River, about an hour north of New York City, in a creative community. I'm a third-generation artist. Like my next neighbors, Aaron Copeland, Jackie Gleason lived across the street, Alan Funt. So I grew up in a very highly creative environment. All my neighbors were very creative people, including my family and history. So it's all I've ever known. I actually became a professional artist at the age of 16.
16, you started at that point in time, were you already in a gallery?
At 16, yeah, I made my first work and I was selling at Croton on the Hudson Gallery. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But was that woodworking or was that some other type of sculpture?
Mixed media. They're basically, at that point, I was doing salvaged art. I was going to Hudson River and salvaging glass and driftwood and doing that sort of collage pieces.
So after high school, being an artist, what did you do? Did you go into college right away?
So I went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. Yeah. They had the School for American Crafts, which has all the crafts there. They also had a very prominent photography school, which I was very interested in, and design, which was what my father was about. So my degree was in environmental design, and I minored in sculpture. So I had my hands in everything.
But now, coming out of that program, you still hadn't committed to being a woodworker yet.
That is correct. You were
still in mixed media.
That is correct. Mixed media. I was always doing sculpture on the side. I was actually doing foundry. I was doing steel work, primarily steel. And then one day, I was also into plastics, and I needed what's called a chopper gun, so for using fiberglass. And I heard that this Wendell Castle guy had a chopper gun. Didn't know anything about him. Walked into his shop, and it changed my life.
But before you became a woodworker with that chopper gun, you did something else.
Yes.
What did you do?
I was building decks. I was doing decks and additions and cabinetry and additions and flipping houses before that was even a term. You name it, I did it.
Okay. And there's one other thing that you did.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yes. Okay. So, yes, I was a professional or semi-professional clown.
And you got your training from where?
Well, I trained myself. I was a juggler, and I met a clown. He taught me clowning. I was a mime, and then we auditioned for Ringling Brothers and got accepted into Ringling Brothers. Although we actually, when it came down to signing, we actually declined due to lack of creative freedom. Because once you're a clown, you have to do the same show every day, and that just wasn't for me. Squirrel. I mix it up all the time.
So you ended up moving away from that. You ended up going into woodworking.
That's correct, yeah.
And what year would that have been?
Oh, dating me here. Early 80s maybe, I think it was. I started transitioning. Once I saw the veneer at Wendell's shop, I knew I needed to learn everything about veneer. That just blew me away. I was still doing cabinetry and sculpture on the side, and kind of was wrapped into the art furniture movement. So I want to say the early 80s, maybe.
And your shop grew, and you grew into several employees. How big did your business become?
At one point, we had 20 employees, 2 locations, full-time. We were the largest contract, a $250,000 contract.
Now, you guys were doing woodworking, you were doing sculptural work, you were doing restoration work.
Yep.
You were doing a whole bunch of things.
Oh, yeah. Fiberglass, restoration, kitchens.
Commercial work.
Architectural, 32mm system we got into real early on. Right. So you could really crank the cabinetry out, and then I used all that technology into my art furniture. So I was really bringing the early technology over into sort of that handcrafted furniture, because you had to be competitive and you got to crank this stuff out. And then at one point I was represented in 32 galleries across the country, and I was doing all the top shows across the country.
Now, as you transitioned from that to teacher,
you
started teaching for me well over 10 years ago.
Yes, and I owe it all to you. I really do. I really do. I really enjoyed the teaching.
But now, along with the teaching, though, it's taking you down other paths, because now you've written how many books?
I've written, 2 are published. I've actually written 3. One is being in its final editing stage right now. And I've now started a YouTube channel because I really do enjoy sharing knowledge. And I'm doing that, and I selectively teach. I don't think I could be a full-time teacher because when I come here, you get 110%. I go home, I sleep for a week, and then I'm back in the shop. But yeah, and then from there, I've designed some tools because through teaching, you realize there was voids for needs of tools. The ultimate router base, shameless plug. And we also have a line of inlay products, crushed mother of pearl, so that's easy inlay. So it's really this whole experience. I owe it all to you because it has expanded the whole thing. It's been great.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you about your webpage in just a second so
Sure.
people can find more of that, but I got one more thing to ask.
Yeah.
Of all of the things that you do and have done, what has been your favorite piece of work ever?
Oh.
Could it possibly be this incredible sculpture?
It could be this. I worked with a recycled material, but I work multimedia. I would say either my gem encrusted line. I have a whole line of gem encrusted pieces that have a trompe-l'oeil fabric, and it looks like you've peeled it back and you're looking at something beautiful, because that has been my life passion about discovering inner beauty, and you'll see that theme throughout all my work.
And Scott's going to be featured in my book, The Difference Makers, the fourth generation, and you'll get to see a lot of that type of work, as well as this incredible sculpture that he did, and he stretches the boundary in so many different directions. So if you like to learn more about Scott, what is your email address, your webpage?
So my work is at scott@scottgrove.com. That's my email address. My website is scottgrove.com. My educational site is imaginegrove.com. That's also my YouTube channel, and I am on Facebook and Instagram. And then I have my inlay products, which is Easy Inlay, and then the tool, the router base, is imaginewoodworker.com.
He's got his hand in everything. We're so fortunate to have Scott be a big part of our program for all of these years. He'll be back later this summer with another workshop. We can't wait to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Man,
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.